in a timely way. After the law was passed, the Commission went about setting up or developing a advanced metering rule, which was finalized in 2007. I think one of the key hallmark features of both the legislation and the rule, it provides a surcharge. So as long as a utility is deploying meters in a system that is consistent with the advanced metering rule, they have the option to utilize a surcharge to provide cost recovery for the system. This way it's providing, in my thought, more of a carrot to incent utilities to deploy smart metering, so it is a voluntary here in the Texas market versus being mandated. As Dan mentioned, we will be complete with our smart metering rollout in 2012 with about 3.2 million meters installed. Obviously, each of those are fully compliant with the Texas rules. From a project standpoint, it's about a $700 million project. And once you roll in all of the capital components, the O&M costs and savings, a residential customer on the Encore system pays $2.19 a month for 11 years. Now, some of the small commercial and other rate classes pay a little bit more than that, but an average residential customer pays $2.19 for that surcharge. I guess some of the objectives for our smart metering strategy, our AMS strategy, back in 2005, when the Texas legislature took the action it did, the forecast for generation reserve margins here in Texas were diminishing and looking fairly bleak. And so they saw smart metering and the conservation that they felt would come about as part of that rollout to be a key factor in how they were going to meet the requirements for generation and supply side in Texas. Now, while that has moderated somewhat with the additional generation coming online, we still think that's a key component. But I'd say even if that issue was not present, I think the second bullet, which again Brenda will talk more about, is providing more timely and meaningful information to consumers about the energy that they use. And I think it just amazes me, and I think a lot of us, that consumers are putting up with the lack of information that they have about is arguably one of the largest costs that they have in their home. So I think even without the emphasis for energy efficiency, providing more meaningful information to consumers is a key. From an operational standpoint, obviously advanced meters will help Encore deliver a better service to our customers from a reliability standpoint. Obviously, we're already being able to glean information from our smart metering system to help us diagnose problems with the system and be able to restore service faster. In a recent storm earlier this week, we used our smart metering system to eliminate what we call a truck roll. We eliminated 3,700 truck rolls because we're able to determine whether a person's lights were on or off and save that whole trip. So it's already beginning to pay back in terms of reliability. Obviously, the technology platform that we're putting in place, not only the meters but the entire IT infrastructure, we believe is a rich field, fertile field for retailers to be able to innovate and provide very exciting new service plans and rates for the customers to be able to offer to the ERCOT market. I guess some of the key milestones in our deployment. As I mentioned, the rule was finalized in 2007. We submitted our plan to the Commission in 2008 and received the approval in late summer and really started the first meter installations and got to work on the IT systems in the fall of that year. So November of 2008 is when we really started the deployment. But part of our approved order contained many interim key milestones that we had to hit. And some of those, in May of 2009, we were able to support time of use rates. For those rates that are already existing in the market. In June, we were able to turn on prepay electric service, providing kind of a semi-automated fashion to be able to provide the disconnect and reconnect within 1 hour for retailers that wanted to offer that service. June of 2009, a big step for us, we were able to provide fully VE'd, validated 15-minute data to the market, so that was a huge milestone to meet. We also, in January 2010, set up the functionality of the home area network, and then following that in March of 2010, enabled the Smart Meter Texas portal. So we've really hit some very key milestones in addition to rolling out meters, but time of use rates, prepay service, the enablement of the home area network, which is supporting many devices today, as well as having the functionality of the web portal. Looking ahead, obviously there is a continued improvement to the functionality, additional enhancements to the common web portal and things like that, as well as our continued push to deploy meters, and again will be complete by the end of next year. And so kind of where are we right now? So we're about at the halfway mark as far as our meter deployment, 1.6 out of 3.2 million meters. I mentioned all the IT functionality, a substantial part of that work is already done, and all that functionality is being offered to customers today. Just a couple of tidbits as far as some of the traffic I guess we've had on the system. We've already, the system already provided over 1 million automated market-driven on-demand meter reads and remote disconnects and reconnects. That happens every day. So far, we've saved kind of interesting side benefits, if you will, but we've saved 4.3 million vehicle miles due to the elimination of either meter readers and field service technicians that are performing those market orders. And at full run rate, we expect to save some 14 million miles a year due to the full rollout of our system, which is significant in and of itself. One of the challenges that we face, and I think has been the topic of some of the workshops, is just the massive amount of information that's coming in. We literally have 40 million pieces of data coming in on the system that we have to sort through. Whether that's true meter reading data or it's operational data about the condition of the network, and that is a massive challenge. To date, we have 150 terabytes of data on the system. We're adding about a terabyte of data per month. So in addition to just a massive rollout, we're learning a lot about data management and being able to scale data centers and things like that. So a very, very exciting process. So that's my main comments about kind of the technical or the operational side of the business, and I'd like to invite my colleague Brenda up to talk about more of the customer side. Brenda?
Good morning. I'd like to add my welcome to those that you've received so far this morning. We think Texas is a great state. I was glad to hear the very first speaker refer to us as a nation state. You'll find that there are quite a number of people in the audience here from Encore. So as you have questions about anything that we've talked about this morning or want more information, you can stop almost any one of my colleagues and they'll be able to help you. I am thrilled that you have as much interest in how customers are reacting to this new technology as you have in the technology itself. I'd like to thank Dan, who we are customers of Vertex. And a lot of what you're going to hear me talk about today has been enabled because we have an extraordinary partnership with Vertex. And I'd also like to publicly thank Christine, who is a support to us at the Public Utility Commission. As we come forward with ideas of what we would like to do with customers, she has been supportive in helping us get those done, as well as adding to our thinking in regard to what customers need. I did want to share that many of the things that have come up during the deployment of our smart meters caused our chairman to accelerate his view that the company could benefit from having a chief customer officer. And it's been my pleasure to serve in this role since its inception. You can see on the screen the major accountabilities that I have in this role. And I really think of it as having three major things to do: the education of our customers, their engagement in these processes, and getting feedback from customers so that we can refine the things that we are doing on their behalf. There are two words that we share with all of our employees that we would really like to have firmly embedded in their minds, and those words are trusted and advisor. It's our aspiration to behave in a way that causes customers to trust Encore and the information that they receive from us that helps them to make informed decisions about the energy that they're going to be using either in their homes or in their businesses. So we think that we get there, that we gain this trust by being completely open and transparent in all of our dealings. It's the way that Vertex deals with us and a model that we would like to follow. And as a result of that, our knowledgeable employees then are best positioned to help customers decide how they would like to use their energy. We measure how trusted we are in our surveys that we take throughout the year, and we compare our results to those that we get from the Edelman Trust Survey, and we're engaged in things that we think will improve our performance in that area over time. What you now see on the screen are some of the customer initiatives that we have in place at Encore. Ask Encore is a traveling education opportunity for customers to ask us any questions about any aspect of Encore's business that they're interested in. We talk about safety, we talk about vegetation management, about energy efficiency. Any question that a customer might have about streetlights, all those things can be covered in that venue, as well as an opportunity to get an overview of the Public Utility Commission's power to choose as customers make decisions about retailers. Our focus groups are really designed to test new ideas, to be sure that the information we've gotten from our surveys and our interpretation of that information is correct. We ask customers directly what they would like to give us as feedback so that we'll know what to take action on. The customer satisfaction surveys test every customer segment. And Dan, I agree with you, we need to do more than our normal utility segmentation. And we've done that a little bit, but not to the degree that we need to. But we learn things from those surveys that are designed to help us prioritize where we need to make service improvements. We've had a couple of interesting winters here in Texas, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more later, but it's helped us focus on improvements we needed to make in how we communicate with customers during an outage. We have engaged a very popular local weatherman, and from our website, you can access his weather blog. And if you like to follow the weather, which Texans like to do when there's a storm predicted, you can see how it's moving through the service territory. And so you'll know whether it's headed in your direction or not, and you'll have decisions that you can make. That outage map is updated from our outage management system, so as service is restored in various areas, that's apparent to the customer. We're also piloting a text pilot. A customer that signs up for this text pilot will get a message when we think service is going to be out, or they can let us know that service is out at their premise, and we'll send them a message when we believe their service has been restored. That works very simply with 3 very simple commands. Trees are very beloved in Texas, and when they grow near power lines and may disrupt the reliability that you heard Mr. Greer talk about, we have to do something about that. We really focus on prevention, trying to help customers understand where it's best to plant trees to begin with. But for those that are mature, we offer a number of ways that those issues can be alleviated. We will, at the customer's expense, put the power lines underground if that's feasible. We'll install taller poles if that works best. We started this year a pilot that we're calling an alternative tree maintenance agreement, that in a particular part of our service territory, if the customer wants to trim their own trees, we get the first 7 feet for safety, and then they make an agreement with us to stay out of that space over the course of the year. And we're also trying some new insulated and covered cable installations to see how well those work. We offer a full range of energy efficiency programs. Christine's colleagues at the Commission help us get those implemented as well, something for every customer class. And then we have inside the company a group of employees that review all of the inputs we get from customers through every channel, and they're called the Customer Experience Council. and their work further helps us refine and prioritize which